a professional ballroom and Latin dancer and instructor from London. And your lovely principal, Emma Gill, who I've known for many, many years, teaching and dancing together all over the place, has asked me to do a little guest starburst for you today to follow along in the series of videos that you've got during these lovely COVID times. So obviously I said yes, it's a pleasure. And at her request, we're today going to be looking at the Jive Chasse. So I'm sure Jive is something that most of you have come across already in your lessons with Emma. If you haven't and it's brand new to you, then we're a better place to start. The chasse itself is something that I'm sure as well you know pops up in lots of different dances, in the cha-cha, in the quick step, so you see it everywhere, but there are specific things about the Jive one in terms of the way it's danced which make it look so different, so that's what we're going to look at today. So one of the things that we talk about lots in Jive is something called the hip swing, which is what we're going to try and look at today as well. So we get hip action in all sorts of different dances, but a hip swing is something unique to the Jive. So before we do anything about feet, let's just talk about that. So I'd like you to stand with your feet kind of about shoulder width apart, maybe, just roughly how I am now. And then just allow your body to get nice and loose. If you've had a long day at work or whatever you've been doing, working from home, maybe not, who knows. Just roll your shoulders, let yourself go a little bit, loosen everything up. Because the thing about Jive, as we should know, hopefully if you've seen it, even if you've never danced it, is it's quite a bouncy dance. So we need to have a nice relaxed body to begin with. Now the main thing that will really help you with this swing is to try and make sure your knees are always soft. So it's very difficult to dance Jive, which you'll see in a second, without soft knees. So we don't want to really think about really straight and locked legs, which is something that we talk about in cha-cha. For this one, just for now, think nice and soft, just really nice and soft. And then from there, we can start talking about the swing. The hip swing in Jive, we like to call a pendulum action. So you know you have the long pendulum, for example, that hangs down in the centre of a grandfather clock. It tick-tocks from side to side. That's what we're aiming to create with our hips. So imagine that you are the clock, and you have a pendulum hanging down from sort of in between your eyes, all the way down past your sternum to your belly button. Everything in Jive is pretty grounded, as most of your dances are, but just really think about keeping that flex in the knees for now, and imagine that you've got something nice and strong in your core. So now I'd like you to think about this swing. So we're just going to gently swing the hips from side to side. So imagine you've got like like those boats you get at theme parks, the galleons that swing from side to side. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm bending my knees in the middle, and then as it swings up to what's my right, but it might look like your left depending on the camera, I've straightened my leg, so my hip has swung all the way to that side. So then I go back to the centre, and as I transfer the weight to the other side, I've got a straight leg here, and my hip is now on this side. So we can just gently do this as a sort of form of a warm-up. Now the key thing is what you want to do is try and keep your upper body relatively quiet whilst you're doing this. Don't be sort of tempted to or fall into the trap of it becoming a bit weebly, which is easily done. So try and keep your shoulders quite level, and that's why the flex in the knees is quite important. So it allows you to have the lower half of your body working kind of independently from the upper half. So you can see I've got this gentle swing happening. Hopefully you can see, I'm aware I've got black trousers on a black background, but what are you going to do? Hopefully you can see. Okay, so that's what we call a hip swing. So that's something that then, if you want to practice with music, you can practice that swing from side to side in time with the music, just as a nice little warm-up before you even step. So now let's talk about the chasse. Hopefully you know the basic sort of structure of a chasse. So I'm going to be dancing it with my right leg, but you can dance it on your left, whichever way. We're just going side to side. So with Jive chasses, that's a 6-step thing. 3 steps one way, 3 steps back the other way. So I'm going to step to the side. We'll talk about footwork in a second. Half close my other leg in to meet it, and take a 3rd step to the side. That's my first 3 steps. Then I'm going to take my next 3 steps back the way I came, side, half close, side. Now eagle-eyed ones of you might already see that there's a little bit of a hip swing happening. So let's just dance that a couple more times and then we'll talk about the footwork, which is the part of the foot that I use when I take my steps. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you see that? One more time. Side, together, side, and side, together, side. That is your basic jive chasse. In terms of the footwork now, which is the key thing to creating these hip swings, we're going to be using the ball of the foot first, but only the ball of the foot. So if you can see here, when I put the ball of my foot down, I don't lower the heel to allow it to become a flat, not yet. If it's just a ball, it's literally just the ball of my foot. Now jive in general, this is something that will help you too. If I turn this way so you can see, our weight is pitched slightly further forward. Okay, so in something like cha-cha and rumba as well, your weight's actually slightly towards the back of your heels. So can you see how my sort of body's changed position there? This would be my neutral position. If I shift back to the back of my heels without falling over, that's where your weight sits for cha-cha-cha and for rumba. For the jive, if you keep that flex in the knees that I spoke about and keep your, as they call it, nose over toes, take the weight slightly further forward, I can keep that flex in my knees much more easily. And also, if you notice, it just automatically means that I'm not actually putting any weight on my heels. It's all on the balls of my feet. It just means it gives it also that look that jive has, which is very kind of, it's energetic, it's ready to go. It's almost like a coil that's wired up, ready to spring. So that's something that you can practice too. Keeping that nice flex in the knees, but also pitching the weight a little bit further forward. So let's try and apply this to the chasse now. So the first step to the side is just the ball of the foot. The second step is also just the ball of the foot. The third step is ball flat. So hit the ground with the ball of the foot, lower the heel, and gently straighten the leg. And you see that by straightening it, that's what gives me my little tick to the side. I repeat the exact same process to go back that way. So this foot is ball of the foot again in the centre, and then the last one is ball flat, and gently straighten the leg at the end. So that's what gives me this swing. So you see it's different to cha-cha-cha, which is ball flat throughout. By having this change, ball, ball, ball flat, hip, ball, ball, ball flat, hip, it means that I can create that swing very naturally. So that's the other thing about footwork. The reason we have it so much, and it's so important, or the reason we talk about it so much rather, is that the footwork informs your leg action, which then informs your hips, because obviously everything is connected. So it should feel much easier for you if you can just understand the basic foundation, literally, of what your feet are doing, then it will filter up to the rest of your body. So we're just going to add on an extra little step just to push you a little bit further. If you just want to practice the chasse, then you can do that too. Just ignore this next bit. But if you feel like you've got that and you want to apply it to a further step, let's add on what we call a jive rock, which essentially is the very first bit of a basic action in jive. So we're going to start with a backward step on the right or left leg, you choose. This is in what we call fall away position, which means that as you step backwards, you have a teeny little turn out of your body. We won't go into too much detail about that just now. Just step back for me for now. But if you notice, I've got a little turn out there, back and forward. The reason I wanted to add this backward step, the jive rock, is because you can also practice your hip swing in this one too, as well as the chasse. It's a bit harder to get, but it's a good one to practice. So even if you want to just practice rocking backward and forward, you can do that too. So all I have is a weight transfer backwards, and as I transfer onto my back leg, you can see my front leg is released, so actually my heel is off the floor. Then I'm going to transfer my weight forward again, and then my back heel is released. So you have this constant shift of weight from one foot to the other. Rock back, rock forward, rock back, rock forward. So I'm still applying the same rules that I talked about with the chasse and the hip swing. I'm bending the knees and straightening. bending and straightening, bend and straighten, bend and straighten. And then with time, you can do it to the beat of the music. So that's something you can practice just by itself as well. So let's try and combine the two. So we will have our basic in fall away position, which is our rock, rock, chasse to the side, chasse back the other way. And you can do this a million times. It's great cardio as well, by the way. If you can find a nice fast jive track and all you do is like a full song of jive rocks and chasses, you'll be fighting fit in no time. Trust me. Okay, so let's try nice and slow. Either right or left foot out to the side, ready for you to go. And we're going to take a small step back. This is also footwork wise ball flat. So we have ball flat, ball flat. Here comes the chasse. Ball, ball, ball flat with a swing. Ball, ball, ball flat with a swing. Rock, rock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rock, rock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ball flat, ball flat. Ball, ball, ball flat. Ball, ball, ball flat. Ball flat, ball flat. Ball, ball, ball flat. Ball, ball. Last time. Ball flat, ball flat. Ball, ball, ball flat. Ball, ball, ball flat. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. There's lots of information in there, so please feel free to wind it back and watch it as many times as you like. But if you can get those very basic ideas in at the beginning, just doing these very simple initial steps, these jive chasses and this hip swing technique pops up everywhere. So when you progress on to slightly more advanced figures with Emma, you should be able to go back and look at these principles and apply it across the board. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you again another time. Take care, stay safe, and keep dancing. Bye.